Good morning guys, we're back at it again with another video. I know it's been like almost 3 weeks without a video. Where have you been? What have you been doing? So I was at the Homesteading Life conference. That was like a 4-day chunk. And then I had 2 days off at home. I wasn't able to really get anything done. Then I was in Portland for a veg out with Hannah. So we're back at it, getting this shit done. I was able to actually get one of the downspouts hooked up. But the problem is we haven't really had a lot of rain yet this year. It's been very slow for the monsoon season. Other parts of Cochise County here, I know Jim and Jessica, they've been getting a lot of rain. This kind of happened last year as well. It's like it was very slow to start, and then through the end of August and in through September, we ended up getting the vast majority of our rain. So I'm really not concerned, but I'll quickly show you the first downspout. So we got this side done here. Where that white pipe is where there's a T underground there, and I'm going to be continuing the T out over towards the gabion wall. So if I ever want to drain this, and I can do that. So we got this downspout coming in and around here. You'll see how all this went together in a upcoming video. But very simply, just got the 4-inch pipe going up. Don't even have it clamped up properly. And then I used some Unistrut here to give it some support. And you'll also find out what that mystery 2-inch PVC pipe is for. So on the lean-to here, I wasn't really sure how I was gonna finish everything off. So I definitely got ahead of myself with the gutters and the downspouts, because how we're gonna finish this side off is that we're going to put all the horizontal pieces, kind of like the hat channel in the garage, so that I can finish half of it off with the gray sheet metal. And then the other half here is going to be finished off with polycarbonate panels. So we're just going to get started on that. We're going to have to slide the panels, so loosen up the gutter there, slide the panels back behind it, and then re-screw the gutter to the building there. Once I get this side finished, then I can finish off the downspout. We'll have to remove all this stuff here, which isn't that big of a deal. Let's get started.
And getting started we are. I took a trip up to the one of the Versatube manufacturing plants. They have one in Phoenix. To grab all the materials for the lean-to and all the sheet metal for the pump house. And one thing that I really like about how they do stuff is that all the steel, it's all pre-cut to the correct length. It's all engineered properly. So it definitely makes assembly much easier, because you don't have to go around cutting steel or doing anything like that. You're just basically screwing everything together, which is really nice and makes assembling this much faster. So now I'm just taking down the downspout here. So everything is just bolted to the lean-to there. So no problems taking that down. And now I'm putting the first run of hat channel going across, because we need these horizontal pieces going across, so that we can screw the sheet metal to, and the polycarbonate panels down at the other end there. I'm also wearing some high vis gear. So this is some gear that Truewerk sent me. So they sent me that hoodie, they sent me that pair of pants and some shirts and some shorts, and they've got some really awesome gear. So specifically that hoodie, I really like working out in 100+ degree heat, because it keeps the sun off of my neck, so my red neck is not going to be as dramatic, which will make Hannah much happier. But it's also a lot cooler to work in than some of the Dickies and some of the cotton clothes that I was wearing before. So if you want to check them out, I'll leave a link in the description box and in the comments section if you want to check out some of their gear. But it's definitely really worthwhile stuff. I really enjoy it. So the first set of hat channel going across, this is the method that I found that really works well, is just using a level going across instead of always taking measurements directly off of the slab. I find that the hat channel is much straighter over such a long distance. And just using my 8-foot ladder to get the pieces going up for the second and for the third row there. And then I've got a new little fun tool for the fourth level, and for actually installing the panels that you'll see in just a little bit. But yeah, just getting out here, working out in the sun. I mean, these days that I was working on this, I think I worked on this for about 3 days to get to what I finished towards the end of the video. It was over 100 degrees, and I was drinking a lot of water, and it was definitely hot skis out there. And using my quick grips, you can see I'm using the quick grips whenever it definitely makes sense to do so. So I can do a lot of this stuff myself, which is always really nice, and I don't need an extra set of helping hands. for me to finish a lot of these projects, which is really nice. Now, one interesting kind of cool little detail that we're going to be doing on the greenhouse side is that polycarbonate panels come in standard lengths of 8, 10, and 12 feet, but the distance from the bottom to the top is 13'6". So what me and Zach from Versatube decided on doing is actually doing a 1.5 foot wainscot around the bottom. That means that I can just install that wainscot around the bottom, and then I can use a full 12-foot panel on top of it. So that definitely just kind of makes it a little bit of a cleaner look, prevents me from having to buy more poly panels and then having a cut piece at the top that is overlapped. So an important note that I'm doing here is that the top of that sheet metal panel, I'm putting at about halfway up that hat channel piece. And that's so that obviously I can screw the top of the sheet panel to it, but also the poly panel that's going to be sitting on top of it is I'm going to have some space there to be able to screw that into the hat channel as well. So I'm just making sure that the distance is exactly how I want it to be. You'll see very shortly that there's going to be a piece of Z trim that goes over top of that for the wainscot. But I thought that this actually looked really good. And when I finished this, I was like, wow, that actually that looks pretty cool. And it's definitely a nice little touch, a nice little detail on it. And I'm just overlapping these panels as I did for the garage there. So it just goes together real nice and simple. And all these sheet metal panels definitely went together really nicely. And it'll be a nice detail on the lean-to and on the greenhouse for Hannah here. So this is the Z trim that I was just talking about. So I just screwed it directly to the steel walls there. I didn't have to really screw it down a lot because the polycarbonate panels are going to be going right over top of it, and then they're going to be screwed right into that hat channel piece that I mentioned just a few moments ago. And this is a nice little detail. It cleans things up, and the transition between the polycarbonate and the sheet metal looks really nice. So here's that tool that I was just briefly talking about. So I got a rolling scaffolding platform there. I mainly bought this so that I can finish off the inside of the garage. So all the electric type stuff that I need to do up in the ceiling. And I'm going to get so much use out of this thing. And it made a lot more sense getting something like this than even getting a big ladder or anything like that. The ladders can be a little bit easier to move around, but having a platform to work on, I definitely think is quite a bit safer than always working off of a ladder. And I'm just putting up these poly panels. There's definitely some details about installing poly panels that you definitely want to know about. I'm attaching them directly to the steel, but what you may not necessarily see in the video, but what I'm doing is I'm pre-drilling all the holes. So with polycarbonate panels, it's recommended that you pre-drill anywhere that you're going to be screwing it to. So if you're screwing it into steel or if you're screwing it into wood, you don't want to go and take a screw and screw it directly through the poly panel into wood or into steel. You want to have that hole be definitely a good bit bigger, not by much, maybe just one drill size up. So I use 1/4 inch for this. That way when the polycarbonate panels expand and contract with the temperature difference, is that it's not going to split the panels where you're screwing it in, because you'll probably see people have that issue if you're looking at like reviews on Home Depot and stuff. And that's just because they're not allowing any breathing room for the panels to expand and contract. So you definitely want to pre-drill all these holes. And that definitely took, a lot more time rather than just screwing them directly in there. But I want this to obviously last as long as possible and look as good as possible and not crack. So that's what we're doing there. So I'm attaching that top piece across there, that top piece of hat channel across there, and then I can get the polycarbonate panel underneath the gutter. So we're going underneath the gutter all the way up to the top there. And what I would do is I would use one of my quick clamps here to hold it into place. And then what I would do is I'd go down to the bottom. I'd get one screw in down at the bottom to get it the left side of it exactly where I want. So getting it matched up with the Z trim properly and get the overlap correctly how I want it. I don't even know if that's really a word. but then I'd go up, I'd get a screw in at the top so that I know that the panel is going to be nice and plumb. And then I'd take off my quick clamp, and then I'd go through and finish off all the other screws. So again, pre-drilling all of these first, so that we're not going to have any cracking issues with the polycarbonate panels. Versatube actually sells polycarbonate panels as well, but they were much more expensive than the ones, I think these are Tough, I can't even remember the brand name, but they're much more expensive. And the reason for why the Versatube ones are much more expensive is just because they're going to be much thicker and probably be a little bit more durable over time. I thought the Tough ones would certainly be good enough for this. They're not on the roof or anything like that. And so now that I've got all those polycarbonate panels installed, I can go ahead and get my first piece of sheet metal installed. So we're just going to be installing these the same way as the polycarbonate panels. So just getting the panel lined up there and sliding it in behind the gutter so that it gets all the way to the bottom of the roof there, and making all my marks so that all my screws going across are going to be at the same height all the way along. Just kind of, I mean, you don't have to do that, but it just looks a little bit cleaner. And definitely when you're looking down the line, it looks a lot nicer if all those screws are all at the exact same height. And this looks really nice, and I'm really kind of proud of the detail work between the transition between the poly and the steel here, which you're going to see in a moment. But this rolling platform is really nice, and actually moving it on the sand wasn't that hard. Definitely the wheels aren't designed for it. It works much better on concrete, but it's definitely going to do its job, and it just prevents me from, you know, having to either buy just a ladder, which I don't think is 100% completely useful for this type of stuff, or for renting a lift. So I think this was a really good compromise. And now I'm just going ahead and reattaching the gutter up there at the top, and too easy. I wasn't sure exactly how this would work, but it worked out perfect. So you can see that detail trim there. Really nice, clean transition. I really had to think about this beforehand, exactly how I was going to do this, just so that it ended up perfect and beautiful. And I think Hannah's really going to enjoy this greenhouse when it's all done. I still have to do like the end walls and stuff, so it's going to be fully enclosed, but that'll be part 2 in another video.
All right, that is kind of a partial wrap on the greenhouse stuff. I just wanted to get basically this side done with the poly panels and that last sheet metal piece there, so that I can finish off the downspouts and get those into place, and then I have to re-dig this out. And I just want to get this last downspout run to the water tank there. But it was a hot one today. Holy moly, it was 105 out. And this is my 4th bottle that I've gone through. So that's about 2 gallons of water. The last time I remember drinking this amount of water in a day was when I was riding over 200 Ks in a day, or 120 miles, when I was doing my bike tours, and I drink about 10 liters of water a day. So it's a hot one out there. And a big thank you to everybody who came out to the Homesteading Life Conference in Missouri, the event put on by Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. Had a great time, and thank you for everybody that came up and expressed gratitude for the videos that I do, and, you know, just having a chit chat. And it's really definitely one of the most it's definitely one of the most satisfying things that Hannah and myself get to do, is like, I'm just talking to a camera right now, and it's hard to really kind of fathom or conceive the type of impact that, you know, my videos can have on people, and the same thing with Hannah's videos as well. It's always so awesome when we get to meet the people that watch our videos, and one of the most common questions that we get, or one of the most common things that people say, is they're like, I know everything about you, is it weird? And personally, I don't think it's weird if you've watched a lot of our videos. It's why we put them out there. So we want people to watch them. So there's no problems with that. So if you ever see us out in public, please don't hesitate to come say hi. We're pretty down to earth people. I always just tell people, I'm like, I just build shit and I put it on YouTube. And also a big thank you to everybody that came out to Veg Out in Portland. Definitely had a great time. And I think we'll definitely do that event again next year, because Portland's got some very nice things that Hannah and I both really enjoy. All the vegan food there is just off the rails. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. We're gonna have another Boondocks podcast coming out there, so back by popular demand, we'll get another one going. Catch you on the next video. Talk to you soon. Peace.